so in case anyone didn't know, I started flipping my classroom, making instructional videos and assigning those as homework assignments a few years ago. And so transitioning with COVID wasn't too bad, although it's still been a complete struggle. But hey, I knew how to make video notes. So I figured what I would do is I would show you exactly how I make my video notes. I know it's something that can be very intimidating to people. And so I'm going to go through the entire process for you. And I think I'm going to have to do it this way. So there might be a little bit of like a Google Meet inception for a moment, but we found it was super fun yesterday. We're just going to look at you, looking at me, okay. So hopefully, can someone let me know if you can see my slide presentation?
Yes, looks awesome.
Sweet.
Well done.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do when I do my flipped videos or make my instructional videos that this year, sometimes the kids are watching them in class. Sometimes they're watching them at home, like when they should be in class. Sometimes they're watching them for homework. It's very like work at your own pace in my little corner of the world. So I always start with some sort of slideshow. It doesn't have to be fancy. I felt the need to make it a little fancy because Katie. And so I'm going to show you just right from the beginning. When I go to do my recording, I use an extension called Screencastify. It's freemium. We'll talk about that in a second. Hopefully we'll be getting a subscription. And so one of the things it took me a few minutes to figure out, and it's a small little trick I think some people might be interested in, is when you go to present, it takes up the full screen, which then poses a problem if you're trying to record. What's nice is if once you're in the full screen, you have this toolbar down at the bottom and you can press this little button right here. I don't know what it's called. It's nothing fancy like waffles, the little arrows pointing in, and it makes it just slightly smaller so that you still have your, like the Omnibar, all your extensions, your bookmarks up at the top so that you can access the screen recorder. So like I said, I'm going to use Screencastify. I do have the paid version because it was 100% worth it for me. Even I actually bought the paid version pre-pandemic, and it's good for a year. There is a huge discount for educators we'll talk about at the end, but you can do all of this with the free version as well. So, and I'm not sure, Bill, does everyone have Screencastify already installed, or would you have to install the extension?
So I think it's already installed. I'll check with Jamie, but you can install it manually because it is whitelisted. And right now, Chris and Laurel are speaking with BOCES about purchasing it district-wide so that everyone will have it. Hopefully that gets finalized soon. And as soon as it does, I'll let everybody know.
Sweet. So I've tried a few different...
Can I just show one other really quick trick?
Sure.
While you're doing that? So if you're looking at your edit view of your slides, if you look at your, I don't know, URL, I guess is what it's called. Yeah. So you see in the URL towards the end where it says edit hashtag.
Yeah.
If you highlight the word edit, go ahead, Becca, highlight the word edit and type in present instead.
What?
Enter.
What?
Yeah.
This is how I post my agendas. I learned this from Adam Barr, but this is how I post my agendas. So, I mean, the agendas are all in slides, and they're like view onlys, but they're craftier than I think they are. So I post them as present only, and then they can click through because it's interactive. So they can click the links, and it works. I feel like a little better. I mean, if they wildly click, it's still just going to advance to the next slide, but that's just another a little trick I like to use that I use to to share out my agendas every day for the kids.
Look at that.
Fancy.
Well, okay.
I like that I stumped Bill. I didn't think I'd stumped Bill on that.
Well, I'm learning lots today.
Okay, I was just excited to make it smaller screened, but look at you going crazy.
Sorry, go ahead. Carry on.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually create a flipped video with you guys watching so you can see how it's really not as scary as it might seem. So on here, I do have the 3 resources that I have been using. The Flip Learning Network is a really great resource. They were kind of the pioneers of flipped instruction. Flipping Physics, even if you don't teach physics, he has a whole section about flipping videos. This is a physics teacher, obviously, physics teacher here, who is actually working mostly as a flipped instructor, putting his information free on the internet. He has a Patreon page and then is only a part-time teacher. And so he's got some really awesome strategies for teachers and for students in terms of what to do and not do in a class where you've got video instruction. And then the latest one I've stumbled upon, which is really great, is Modern Classrooms Project. They have a free and a paid course. Obviously, I've gone through the free course. It goes over blended learning and flipped learning, as well as self-paced instruction and standards-based grading. So a lot of stuff with that. All right, so this is how I would make a flipped video. I have to make some after this for my classes as well. So once you have Screencastify installed, you have a few different options. You can record just a browser tab. That will be whatever tab you have open that you want to record. It won't show all the other things. You can do a desktop. This is good where if you are going to go from your slide deck to an animation to something else, you need to flip around to your different tabs. You want to do the whole desktop, or you can do the webcam only. I'm not going to do that. Not looking great today. You can also embed the webcam. If you do that, a webcam will pop up and a little video of you will be in the screen. And that's preference as to what you want to do. So once you have your slideshow ready to go, you open it up, apparently in this fancy little present mode or using the little in-word button so that you can still access Screencastify. Then you're just going to hit record. It'll give you a little countdown, and then you can start recording. All right, so this is my video on flipping your classroom without a flop. The first thing we're going to talk about is what even is a flipped classroom. So according to the Flipped Learning Network, a flipped instruction is when direct instruction is moved to the individual space and the group space is a more dynamic, interactive learning environment. What's really important to know about this is it's not just notes at home and homework in class. You want to do more than just flip-flop what you're doing. It's really important that we're focusing on the dynamic nature of in-class. It gives you much more time to have students doing projects, doing labs, doing activities, working together, getting to those higher order of Bloom's taxonomy. Since you're not spending that direct instruction time when you're just talking at the kids and they're passively nodding along or not even nodding along, going over your instruction. There's a few different types of flip. The 2 most common ones are blended or in-class flips and a traditional flip. In a blended flip class, you're going to have your homework will be your videos. So your homework will be your videos. And then in class would be whatever activities you're working on. Sorry, that's a traditional flip. A blended would be the videos are there for any point in time for the students to watch. So they don't necessarily have to be watching the videos at home. They might be watching it in class. Katie might be watching video number 1. Bill might be watching video number 2. Everyone is getting what they need in that moment in time. When you are doing a flipped classroom, the most frequent thing for teachers to do is to create their own short video lessons for students to then watch. I have used both other people's videos and my own, and I find most of the time the students prefer hearing your voice. It also squashes that little bit of tension that might come when students might say, but you're not teaching me. I am. I'm just not teaching you the way that you're used to be teaching. However, you also can use other curated videos, things that people have already made, especially, it's good to throw those in sometimes, especially those professional made ones. You can search YouTube. You can find them already on Edpuzzle or other sites as well. And so essentially what a flipped classroom is taking the direct instruction instead of chalk and talking at the board. You're just putting your lesson into videos for students to watch. And so that is what I do when I go to make a flipped video. I don't worry about the bloopers, the typos, the word slips.
Well done.
Thank you. I find that it makes the students like it better when those things are in there because it just makes it more real. Now, what I really like about the Screencastify is it has those features down at the bottom. So I do have one of the fancy dancy tablet computers where I can draw on the screen, but I used to always just draw with the mouse, and it was just a running joke in our class about how sloppy my handwriting was, because that's just, it was what it was. And so when you're doing this, notice that was a short video, and that was on purpose. So once you have stopped recording for your video, Screencastify will open into a new screen. You can use the editing features. I very rarely do. I do typically rename it because it will automatically name it whatever the title of the slideshow is. And you don't want your flip videos to be a whole like 80-minute slideshow. You do want them to be really short. So you can name it whatever is relevant. So what is a flip? And what's nice is you can get your shareable link right from Google Drive. Screencastify will automatically share, save to your Google Drive. You can get embedding code, sending emails, or publish to YouTube. And then I also recently found out about this. If you want, you can also export or download just the audio. So I read a test. I use Screencastify to read a test to my students that I was just going to link to them when they were ready to take it. And I just exported the audio. So when they click on it, the audio can play in the background as they go through their test to get their testing accommodations. So you can export just the audio files if you don't want the whole video with that.
Yo, that's brilliant. What a great idea. I could see that being used at like the elementary level. You know, if a kid is struggling with a reading test question, special needs, you could use that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been doing that, but I didn't even think to just do the audio. I was just recording it, figuring, well, they can play it in another window and do their test, but I've been reading the test in a video, and I didn't even think to just use the audio. That's a great idea.
And it also makes the file a little bit smaller. So I run into the issue that with these newer Chromebooks, the file, like the video is so good, it's too large. The students are having a hard time getting their Chromebooks to actually open up the files. So by doing just the audio, if they don't need to see what I'm writing, if they just need to be listening to what I'm saying, then those are smaller files, and their Chromebooks have an easier time opening them.
Yeah, I've had where the audio keeps going and the video freezes.
Yep.
And so like 5 minutes into the video, the kids will be like, is this supposed to be on the same screen? You just keep yakking away. And I'm like, no, it's not. I have put it on YouTube, and that also fixes it if you have a YouTube account and you upload to YouTube. The other thing to remember is that the Screencastify videos don't process right away. So you want to be making it the day before. You don't want to be making it right before a class because it may not be playable yet. Sometimes it's really fast. I think it depends on how long the video is and all that kind of stuff. But you'll get this alert that says you have to download it or something, that it's not processed or whatever. But makes kids think it didn't work. But as long as you do it, I think the day before, you should be good to go.
Yeah, I've not always the day before, but normally if I make it before school. Normally they're for my 8-9 class. By then they're processed. And one of the things that actually kind of piggybacking off of that, Katie, that really, really helps is in this course that I'm taking, they really stress the length of the videos. And as a somewhat functional adult, I would like to think, I completely understand this. So when I first was getting into flipped instruction, they said about 1 minute per year of age. So if you are teaching at a high school, if your videos are more than 15, 18 minutes long, they're too long. Modern Classrooms Project actually suggests each video should only be 5 or 6 minutes. You may be thinking, how can I cover everything I need to cover in just 5 or 6 minutes? You're not going to. You want to focus on just one objective. Use visuals such as the images, the writing on screen features, even if they don't look great. You want to chunk things up. No one has the attention span to sit through an 80-minute lecture that has just been posted as a video. Incorporate animations when you can, and also build opportunities for engagement. Whenever you're making video notes, a great way to do that is Edpuzzle, because you can actually add in places where the video will pause and it will a question will pop up or your voice will pop up, and students, you can get that feedback immediately. You can also just say in the video, okay, what I would like you to do right now is answer these 3 questions that I have on the screen. Go ahead to pause the video, write down your answers on a sheet of paper, and then go ahead and hit play when you're ready to go over them. Not all students will do it, but the vast majority of students, I'm noticing as I'm watching them do the flips in class, actually do take that opportunity. They feel like it's school. The teacher says, write something down. I'm going to write something down. So it's really important to remember that this isn't just word vomiting, as I like to say, all over a quick little video, that you are making them interactive, and they don't have to be long. Each video I try to keep to just 1 or 2 slides to remind myself that they really should be short videos. So then just real quick about Screencastify. So like I said, it is freemium, meaning it is free. It does have a 5-minute limit on recording and editing with the free version. But if you're really working on just one skill at a time, that shouldn't be too bad. I just had to break up a lab. It had 6 parts. So I made a video, 1 for each part. The longest video is 3 minutes. And the students are like flying through the lab because they have that. Like Bill said, the district is working on a paid subscription for next year. I guess we'll see where that is. And the other thing to remember, if you decide it is worth it, is the educators do get a discount. So it looks like it's like $50 or $60 when you first go, and you just hit a button being like, yes, I'm a teacher, and the price drops. No matter what, you do get the option to record your screen and with the webcam to trim your videos, to annotate, use the drawing tools, save to Google Drive, publish to YouTube, export, and no watermark. And for every edit plan, which I didn't get into until this year, you really don't need them. I did 3 years of flipped classroom without ever editing the videos. But if you want to go crazy, you can merge clips together, crop your recordings, trim and split things, add text. The Zoom tool, blur tool is coming soon. I haven't even played with those. So it doesn't need to be anything crazy when you are making flipped videos. The important thing to remember is really that focusing on one thing and putting yourself in it, because the students do want to hear you and see you because you are their teacher. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
I might have missed it. I apologize. But was there a way for you to split when editing your video? Can you split the video and audio to get rid of the audio?
So you can download just the audio, and then in the advanced editing features, you can like get rid of the audio and re-record the audio over using Screencastify.
So that would be once we get through the freemium thing, or is that, can we do that now?
I don't know. I could easily come over and we could look at it, because you can download it. We think you might have it.
Yeah.
You would have the free account. We could look at it to see if
I was going to say I could check, but I pay for mine. So mine's going to show that I probably can do it, and the free version may not. So we would have to look at it under your thing, Kathy.
So would that be the scissor thing? That scissor thing in there?
So the scissor will split the video, but then there's usually a button that you'll be able to actually separate the video from the audio.
And I didn't see that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, to be honest. Sorry.
But the good news is we're pushing hard that we need to Screencastify now. So really hoping we get it before the end of January, but let's be realistic. I'm hoping before we go on spring break. But I know Hubble is pushing hard on that. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, not that I'm a proponent of always having to buy my own stuff, but for me, I just got the alert today that my subscription will get re-upped in like 3 days. It's $24 for the year, and the amount that I've used it even just this year, it's 100% worth the $24. You know, it's not like it's $24 a month or like that would be totally different, but $24 for the year, and you get all pretty much everything you need that I can think of, and it's been well worth it for me. Again, not that I'm a proponent of you having to spend your own money, but occasionally it is worthwhile.
I want to pay you back somehow, though, Katie Bartone. I'm going to figure out a way somehow, some way.
Oh, man. In that case, I'm going to get a bill together for the other things I pay for.
Yeah, well, in that case, mine's about $50.
And I also pay for Quizlet, which is also well worth it, just to have Quizlet Live. But that one's not that expensive. It's only like, I think it's $15 a year or something like that. It's crazy.
All right, we got to get those.
Well, thank you.
Wait, I definitely used Quizlet Live last year and didn't pay. Are you sure you need to be paying?
It's possible I don't need to be paying anymore, but at one point I needed to be paying. It's possible I'm also not paying anymore, to be honest with you. I don't even know.
I would look into that because
I'm not even sure I'm paying anymore, to be honest with you, but I probably am. If they had my info, I'm sure they're charging me.
In the free, you just can't like edit. You don't have as many features when you do it that way.
Right, yeah, no, it used to be that you couldn't do Quizlet Live without paying. And I love Quizlet Live, so I can't use it as much now, but
I also can't get back to edit my slide now.
Go to present, double click.
Page not found.
You screwed it up.
I screwed it up somehow. There we go. I found it. And then if anyone wants to know like more examples or see more examples of, so I see Katie dropped one in the chat of blended learning. That's exclusively like what I've been doing with some of my classes. I've got various levels. I've got a few students. I know, I don't know. Miss Alita, can you guys hear us? Like, is the volume on? So Kara is one of the students that is doing blended learning. And I'm going to put her on the spot, but I'm pretty sure she enjoys the way we've been doing AP Physics.
Oh, I didn't realize you unmuted. Yeah, I like it, but it's definitely something you have to get used to. But I like how it's like independent and I can do it on my own. Because like personally, like I have certain days after school where homework is just not really. Like I don't get home till late, and it's like, but like with like the way we do it, like if I don't do it then, I can just make it up a couple days later, and then I'm back right where I used to be.
That's the goal. Yeah. So I give them pretty big deadlines. There's different ways of doing it. But I would encourage anyone to just try even just making a small video. It doesn't. We do call that learning time management. We talk about that actually. So just short videos, even if it's just going over the directions. I know, Katie, we've talked about that. It makes a world of difference trying to get virtual kids to do.
Yeah. I also think it gives ownership back to the kid. All I have to do is say, and of course the answer is always no, but all I have to do is say, did you watch the video? Because they're like, I don't know how to do something. Well, did you watch the video? I literally went through the whole thing in the video. So go watch the video. Ta-da. Mm-hmm. So it really puts a little bit of ownership back on the kids. And it's an adjustment. And I teach a lot of freshmen, so it's an even bigger adjustment. But I think, especially in these current times, just teaching those life skills, time management, ownership, accountability. Like, I don't actually necessarily care if you know what the mitochondria is currently in this pandemic. I don't care. But I need you to learn how to, like, be a human and start to be an adult who has to muscle through a pandemic.
Yeah, learn how to function.
Right. So, yeah, I like that it gives a little accountability. And it takes a little bit of, like, the fact that now I have to sit with you and walk you through every step. And then another kid walks in and now, I got to do it again with another kid. I'm like, it's like that 10th period Groundhog Day thing. I can just say, if you have questions, let me know, but here's the video.
I find the students then help each other out. We were doing test corrections today, and I added to my test corrections, where in the unit do you find the answer? And one student was like, well, I had it in my brain. I was like, you didn't. You got the question wrong. Go find what video it's in. And they were working together on a Google Meet, and another kid goes, that's in video 4. And they were like, no, it's not. So then a third student went and rewatched video 4, and they're like, yep, it's at minute 2. And so
I love
they
it.
can, you know,
Hold
they
each
were
other
asking
accountable.
Yeah.
for help with something. I was like, did you try rewatching the video? No. Did you open your notes, rewatch the video? It's there. And what's nice is you can almost like multiply yourself.
Yeah, you could be everywhere doing every different lab makeup and every different activity all at once.
That's amazing. Talk about like truly pushing that to a level for kids taking control of their own work. Freaking love it.
And so, Amy, when they're like, we don't know why we're failing biology or physics, that's a great question because the videos are all right there. They're all right there.
Add
That's
math
all
to
we
it
had.
too. But they don't, so they watch the video, but they don't take any notes or anything. I'm like, did you just absorb it all?
I
don't
taught
get
them
it.
osmosis. Don't worry, that's how that works.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Well,
how it works. I actually, so
Docs
what
are
I,
purely decorative.
what I did last year, I'm not really doing it so much this year, but what I did last year was I don't give the kids guided notes. You're in physics, you're big kids, and I don't have time to make guided notes, sorry. But I just said, you need to write down notes, like write it down, whatever you think is important. And they would compare answers at the start of class, like compare notes with each other. And then when moving into the pandemic, I just had them add a picture of their notes for accountability. And frankly, even if they were, you know, if Bill didn't watch the video and just copies Katie's notes down to hand in a photo, well, Bill still took notes. I didn't grade the notes. It was just literally a check for accountability. I've never graded notes or homework like that. And, you know, if you're going to copy something, it might as well be something you would normally just copy.
I've never heard or thought of that idea. Just take a picture of your physical notes.
Oh, I offer that as an option for any assignment I do on
that's very
like,
smart.
just upload a photo. My philosophy is if it was good enough for College Board to take AP tests, it's good enough for high school physics.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of kids who don't like typing physics. I don't like typing physics.
Yeah.
So if they want to handwrite it and upload it as a photo, have at it. I get to see all sorts of bedspreads and cat tails and
a future tech corner. That's a great idea.
I think math teachers have been having to do that because you can't just take notes on math,
Right.
type them in. So, although then the kids can say, well, I don't know how to put the picture up on the thing.
I've got a video of it. I can send it to them.
We're almost a year into this. Really, you should know how to submit a thing or two in Google Doc or Google Classroom by now.
Yeah, I have to sneak away to another meeting, but thank you so much for putting this on. I seriously learned more than just one thing today. You guys are amazing. But I'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
Bye.
I think it's really that the two of you bounce things off of each other. I think that, I mean, I know now it takes two people to do something like this, but I think it's really great that you're like, oh yeah, but then it makes you think of something else. So.
Yeah, and we're both science, but we do have different perspectives. So like, I absolutely do guided notes because I teach freshmen. You know, and I don't have to do nearly as many math things. So I always, that's always an option. It's not necessarily an option that I explain, hey, if you really wanted to write it out and take a picture, I would be fine with it though. But it's just, mine lends itself a little bit better. They still hate the digital stuff, I think, but there are different things for different levels too. So I think we lend varying science perspectives too, which I think is helpful.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been hearing less complaints about packets than ever before because I think we're all so sick of watching the screens that they're like, oh, I get pencil and paper. I get to,
Use
oh, that's
paper?
okay.
That's great.
I told a student the other day she could write the answers on a whiteboard, like in my room, and take photos of it to put it up. And you would have thought I told them they won $1 million. I was like, you can do the entire test on a whiteboard if that's what makes you happy. I really don't care.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. It's probably easier to read on the whiteboard too than on the loose leaf on the bedspread or whatever.
Mhm.
My favorite's when they hold it up to the Chromebook, and so it's like all sorts of wonky.
That's funny.
Good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, if you have any
Thank you.
questions, just let us know. We'd
I
love to help.
definitely will.
Bye.
Bye.
I've been started using Google Keep. Have you ever used Google Keep?
I installed Google Keep.
I love, okay, so I'm a list person, but I friggin' love Google Keep. I know, you're shocked. This is your shocked face. So, and again, this is me being a ridiculous, but I made a list for each kid. And obviously,
All
I
the
color
kids you teach?
Yeah, not my criminal science kids, but all my ninth graders. But I obviously am also like a, color coding lunatic. But so I made a list for them, and now it's their job to update said list. But now every time we put an assignment up, I say, okay, pull up your list. You're gonna put this on it. You're gonna put the due date.
And then if they finish it, they go in and check it
They
off.
check it off. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not checking it. It's a tool for them, and that's what I told them. I was like, this is a tool in your tool belt. I can give you the hammer. I can give you the nails. I cannot hang the drywall for you. So it's your call. You want to build the box or not? It's your call. But
Can I make
I can
one-
share it with them. That's the other thing. So it's just like a Google Doc. It's all shared with them. I think I just closed that. Sorry, but